Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to the forum from classroom to boardroom, a awareness session aimed at bridging the gap between university and employment. We have an exciting event planned ahead. Whether you are an undergraduate or a recent graduate, this session will be insightful for each and every one of you. Before me moving on the session, I would like to introduce this initiative, which is Road to Right. Road to Right is an organization which award-winning youth-led voluntary organization established in 2019 with a vision of building peaceful and sustainable future for all by empowering young people. So as a part of this initiative, there is University Ambassador Consortium was created encompassing 15 countries. And this particular event falls under the Sri Lankan chapter and University of Marathon. We have 17 ambassadors and 17 projects lined up. And this is the project for this term. And this initiative aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals created by the United Nations. So these are the goals. And this particular event falls under SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth. So which aim to promote decent work and economic growth worldwide. So that's all from the introduction. So without further ado, let's move on to our esteemed speaker for the session. Mr. Mas Savanagan is a global CEO in lead and learning and development at Ryzen and guiding strategic learning initiative to advance skills and leadership across the firm. Ryzen, a leader in the SAP services. And he also has served as a lecturer for Columbus School of Business and Management and British Bristol Institute. And also he's a real-world example of the successful climbing the career ladder. So without further ado, let's give the stage to our speaker, Mas. Over to you.
Thank you, Adipa, and good evening, everyone. I'm guessing the entire audience is from Sri Lanka, so just want a quick sound check. Can all of you hear me quite well? Yeah, am I audible? Can I have a virtual thumbs up?
Yes, bit more. If you can speak a bit more louder, it will be better.
Okay, this is a problem I have with Zoom sometimes. So, can you hear me now?
Can you speak again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you again. Yeah.
Okay. This is a problem I sometimes have with Zoom, but let's continue if you can hear me now. Yeah, it's audible.
Yeah, it's audible. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm quickly going to share my slide deck with all of you all. Just give me 1 second.
Recording in progress.
Right. So, I'm guessing you can see my slide deck as well, right?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Right. So in case my audio sort of gets a little low, please let me know. I'm speaking very close to the speaker, so it should be okay. So everyone, my name is Maz, as Adipa mentioned. So I'm the Global Center of Excellence Lead for a company called Rising. It's an American tech company based out of the US. I'm currently based in India, so I'm speaking to you from the IT capital of the world, which is Bangalore. It is a new Silicon Valley. So I work for a company here, which is a parent company called Wipro. So it's quite a big company. My office, we have around 100,000 people coming to office on any given day. So that's a factory of some sort. So I'm going to be talking to you about the topic, a marketable graduate. And when I came out of university, so I went to university in Sri Lanka. And when I came out of university, there were a number of things that I was not prepared for when I joined the corporate sector. And I know that many of us are very anxious. We're joining the corporate sector, wondering how can I become successful? How can I add value? So there are a lot of questions that you might have in your mind. So what I'm going to be sharing with you is basically from my own experience. This is not from any book or any theory. This is what I've experienced through my own life. And I think when I share these with you, it is a lot of sentiment because it comes from my own experiences. All right. So if you do have any questions, please unmute, ask away. We will have a segment towards the end where you can ask any questions and I'll be more than happy to answer. But I'm going to take you through a couple of slides. This should take about 45 to 50 minutes. But I just want to share with you the main lessons and learnings that I have got through my corporate career. So is that okay, everyone? Adipa, I came out clear in terms of my voice and the volume?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear?
Awesome. So who is responsible, everyone? Who is responsible for your careers? So it's like this, right? I was reading a book pretty recently, and this book was written by a person called Jacko Willings. He is a Navy SEAL, and he said, the day you own everything in this world, the day you own everything in the world is the day that you are free, which basically means you need to take responsibility over your life. And this includes your career as well. Very often we are expecting other people to be responsible for our future. From our parents to our teachers to our lecturers, so many different stakeholders, we claim are responsible for our future. When in reality, the day that you take responsibility over your career is the day you find actual freedom. So let's look at it like this, right? All of you all remember COVID-19 when all of us were stuck at home. So during that time, I asked so many people, what do you think about this current situation? And you know what? I found two different narratives to this particular situation. One lot of people said, this is the worst time I've ever gone through. I have salary cuts. I don't know how to go through it. I don't know how to survive. I'm stuck at home. And they painted a very dismal picture of what it was, right? They were very skeptical, very anxious, and they didn't like it. Now I asked another set of people and their responses were a little different. They said, this is very unusual, COVID-19. We are stuck at home now, but it provides us with the opportunity to spend more time with our family. It provides us with more time to find alternative sources of income. Now we can revive new projects which we put on hold because we were so busy before. But now we have more time to execute them because we're at home right now. And they saw it very positively. So everyone in the audience, same situation, but two different ways of looking at it, two different narratives. Now, the people who are very skeptical and anxious, they thought, I'm going to wait until the whole storm blows over. I'm a victim of this circumstance. I don't know what to do. But the other set of people said, we are going to be responsible over our own future. And they saw things very differently. They said, we are going to see the good in this situation. And we are going to be responsible over our own lives. And this is what I would like to share with you all as well. When it comes to your future, whether you decide to join academics or whether you decide to join the corporate sector, you are responsible over your career. Which means, yes, your teachers, your lecturers, your parents will provide you with guidance. But you have to take opportunities that are in front of you. You have to be able to seize these opportunities if you are to move forward and achieve your goals and objectives you have in your life. And in life, we all define success in different ways, right? Whatever you define as success, it is your responsibility to go and take what is yours. Does that make sense so far? Yeah? Cool. I'm going to move to the next slide. Okay, so a couple of things that you may want to consider when you decide what career you want to embark on, right? First and foremost, what do you truly like? Or what do you want to be? What is your passion? So I know many people talk about find your passion and you'll be successful and all that, right? And I do believe, yes, if you're pursuing something that you really like, you will be successful. But this is the thing, right? Your passion is something that you like, something that you are interested in, right? Something that you like. Like, for example, you like science, or you like arts, or you like HR, or you like marketing. That's something you like. But you only pursue your passion when you couple your interest with your skill set. So when you can couple your interest with a skill set, and maybe right now you don't have a skill set as yet. So maybe you love marketing, but you don't have all the skills for marketing right now. That is okay. You can learn a skill set. But when you couple your skill set and your interest, that is where you pursue your passion. And every single day, you will feel you're adding value, and you will love doing you will love following what you truly love. So that is when you combine, like I said, write this down if you have to. Your passion is when you combine your skill set with your interest, and then only will you find your passion. Now, however, many people like certain things, like I like painting. It's my interest. But if I don't invest in developing my skill set, what will it be? It will always be a hobby. It will always be a hobby. Now, suppose I'm really good at something. I'm really good at finance and accounting, but I hate finance and accounting. I'm not interested in it in one bit. Then what is it? It is nothing but a job. So you want to make sure that you can combine your interest and your skill set. And if you don't have that skill set, you develop on that skill set. And when you pursue that, you will find your passion, and that will give you immense happiness, right? So find your passion in the work that you're doing. First point. Second point is, look at the industry trends. What is really trending right now? If you look at the current market, AI, change management, these are things that are really trending right now. Now, certain careers are sort of fading out. Like, for example, shipbuilding. With air freight and all these other means of transportation, shipbuilding is reducing in terms of popularity. So you want to find things that are very current, something that will be available for the next 5 or 10 years. Because certain things are dying out. Like, for example, right now in India, where I live right now, we don't have any cable TV. We don't have dish TV or dialogue TV or satellites. Every single TV channel is through your fiber network. So you're watching your Netflix, you're watching your news, you're watching your local Indian TV through the internet. So no one has dish antennas, no one has these things that come out of your protrude out of your windows to get signal. Everything's done through data, right? So if you are embarking on a career, say you want to get into TV or digital TV, you want to understand what the new trends are in that industry. Now, currently in India, where I work right now, we don't use money at all, right? In India, we do not use currency. We don't use paper notes. All transactions from the beggar to the CEO, we only use Google Pay or Paytm or some form of e-banking, right? We do not use cash anymore. Even the beggars in India right now, they come to us with a QR code, which we have to scan and pay them, because no one has cash here, right? So these are the trends right now. And these trends will start emerging in different parts of the world as well. So you have to understand what the trends are before you choose a career. If you choose a career which is fading out, then you might be left behind, right? So that is another thing. Because AI, if you understand, is taking out so many new jobs, so many new roles. And how can you become accustomed? How can you find a career in an AI-generated world, right? So that's important industry trends. Next is economy. Understand where the main revenue earners are. What sort of industries are driving the economy? Now in Sri Lanka, for so long, the three main economy generators were, one was tea, and manufacturing. Then you had tourism, and then you had foreign remittances of people who were sending money back to Sri Lanka when they were working abroad. Now you have to understand what is the future of Sri Lanka as well. Is it tourism? Is it IT? And you have to make a call on your career depending on the economic climate as well. What will be in demand over the next 10 years, right? You have to understand emerging technology. And like I mentioned before, AI is a big buzzword right now. Now, many people are saying AI is going to take so many jobs. Well, I think, yes, it will take certain jobs, but jobs that are not adding value, it will take for sure. So you have to find or carve out a career where you are adding value. And I'll give you a very simple example. So when I was working at MAS, right, manufacturing at MAS Holdings, we had about 5 or 6 merchandisers doing bills of material, which was a very labor-intensive job, very monotonous, where you're entering data. Now, they were entering data a lot. But we developed a bot, an artificial intelligent bot, that could do 6 people's work in a couple of hours. Why? Because it was taking a very mundane task, something that wasn't adding value, and doing it in a very, very faster rate, more efficiently. So many people were very disgruntled, saying, listen, you're taking the jobs of merchandisers away. But our response was, no, listen, we're not taking them away. We can now deploy them in areas where they can add more value, where they can play a more strategic impact. So like that, everyone, think about emerging technology. Don't think of it as something that's bad. There will always be disruptions in the world. If I go back into my time, right? Now, whenever we took a photograph of a class trip or a group gathering or a party or anything, we took it on a photograph. We took it off a camera. And those days, Kodak was the main company that provided us with film for us to take photographs. And then we took photographs, we put it in albums, and maybe your parents or your grandparents had those photograph albums. And Kodak, which was the company, their motto was, we are in the business of making memories. But in a couple of years, guess who came and stole their business? Any guesses, guys? Who came and stole their business? By having a disruptive technology. Anyone? It was Facebook. Facebook came, and they were also in the business of making memories. Now everyone was storing their pictures through their digital phones onto Facebook, and no longer did they need Kodak, and they sort of ran out of business. Now, not to say that Kodak were not innovating. They had a very good innovation center. They were innovating their film and their CDs and all these different things. But they were not prepared for a disruptive technology like Facebook to come and totally take them off the map. So that is what you need to understand as well. Understand what technology will be there in the coming years and make sure you're up to date. Because all of us are changing our phones, right? Every 2 or 3 years, we are changing our phones because the cameras are getting better. From 3G to 4G to 5G, so many new features, memory is expanding, battery life is improving. So like that, if we are changing our phones every 2 or 3 years, that means technology is also changing at that same pace, right? So you need to understand what are the new trends in technology as well, right? And the next point I wanted to share with you guys, when you choose a career, this is my personal advice, choose a career over a job. So what do you mean by this? So many people go for something that's paying a higher salary. And then when they get someone else who offers you 10,000 or 25,000 more, you jump to that different job. And that job might be totally different to what you're doing right now. My proposition for all of you all is choose a career, something that you can invest in, something that you can grow in. Like, for example, HR, human resources, is a career. Software development is a career. Marketing is a career. Now, in the beginning, when you start, you might not see the results. You might not see yourself going forward. But like when you put money in the bank, when you invest money in a bank, you don't get the returns immediately. Nothing comes quickly. You have to wait for it to mature. And when the time is right, when you become an expert in your career, that's when you are going to see growth, and you will not be able to see how far you've gone because you've gone so ahead of everybody else. Invest in a career, everyone. Right now, it's so tempting in a world where we are filled with instant gratification, where we get everything instantly. Don't be fooled by thinking you will get a career instantly as well. You have to invest. It takes time, right? You have to grow in order for you to be successful. Let me give you an example. Usain Bolt, fastest man in the world. He runs 100 meters in 9 seconds. Now, he says it took him 20 years to run 100 meters in 9 seconds, right? And if he gave up anywhere, if he gave up at any time during that journey, he would not have been the fastest man in the world, right? If he went for long distance running in the middle, if he went for weights, if he went for bodybuilding, if he went for different career paths or different jobs just because they offered him a higher salary, he would not have been the fastest person in the world. So you will be tempted by other employers saying, join my company. Right now you're in sales, but join my company. You can be in marketing or you can be in HR. I'll pay you 20,000 more because I love your communication skills. No, Don't get fooled by that. Don't get enticed by that. Be true to your career, learn new things, understand, how you can add value to your stakeholders. And when the time is right, you will see that you have so much of knowledge and experience. You will be able to be valuable to the company and you will earn a lot of money. But like an investment, you need to know when to cash in. Many young people, they jump jobs from here to there just for 10 or 15,000 rupees more. But at the end of the day, they are not investing in their career, everyone. So that is also really important. The next point is earning potential. When you start working somewhere, understand where this job could take you as well. Now, if you look at the field of HR, now understand what a CEO at HR probably earns. How can you get this information? Go to Glassdoor. Find out how much a CEO at a Fortune 500 company is earning. And then you can roughly gauge how much of money that you can earn. If you want to get into academics, understand how much a professor will be earning. If you want to get into teaching, understand how much a teacher will be getting. So get a ballpark figure of what the earning potential for the career you would like to invest your time in. And that will really help you in the long run because you know what sort of pay package you can get in the long term. Next is work-life integration or work-life balance. When you choose your career, guys, I know in many companies, many people talk about work-life balance. And I'm going to tell you a very stark reality. There is nothing called work-life balance. There is no balance. Right? If you want balance, I don't know where you're going to. Because some days when you're working hard on projects, even now at university, you will be working 18 hours sometimes to finish your project, right, at university. Where is your work? Where is your life then? Some days when the project is over, you'll have more time for your life and less work. And then your balance is more on life. You decide what work-life balance means to you. And in today's world, we're always switched on. We always have our phones. We always can do our meetings all over. So sometimes now when I go on hikes or when I go on, when I have meetings, I also take my phone with me. So when I go on a hike and I have a 1 hour break during lunchtime, I might take a quick call just to make sure everything at the office is going right. So sometimes when we have a project deadline and we have to deliver, then we're working 16 hours a day. And where's the work-life balance then? When the project is over, we have more time to spend. We can take a vacation. We have more time for life. So you decide, guys, what work-life balance means for you. If you're looking to balance everything, juggle all balls equally, in the air, one ball is going to fall. So you need to decide, guys, what work-life balance means for you. In the beginning of your careers, you will see that you will not find too much of work-life balance because now you're trying to create a reputation for yourself. You're trying to make sure your employer knows who you are. You are trying to add value. So you will find that work might be larger than life. But as you go and progress through your career, you will find that you are so experienced in your work, you don't need to spend so much of time on it. That you can have a larger balance with life more than work at that point because you know exactly what to do. And I'll give you a very simple example, right? Now this ship, right, was broken. This ship in the yard was broken. So many people tried to fix it and they couldn't fix it. Then they hired one of the best engineers in the world to come and take a look at it. So this engineer had about 30 years of experience. This engineer came in, tapped his tool on the boat, made a small adjustment with his spanner, and said, okay, it's fixed. Here's my bill, $1 million. And they're like, what do you mean $1 million? You came and you only took like 5 minutes and now you're going. He's like, yeah, it did take 5 minutes, but y'all didn't know what to do. And with my 30 years of experience, I knew exactly what to do, which only took me 5 minutes. Whereas you guys have been working on it for 1 month and you couldn't find a solution. And that is experience. So as you progress in your career, guys, you will see that you will have more time for life. You will see a lot of CEOs going, on wildlife safaris and vacationing and doing all these crazy things. That is because they know exactly what to do. They don't panic in case of emergencies. But as you start your careers, everyone, you will see that you have to invest more in terms of your work and life might have to take a backseat sometimes. You can't always find that work-life balance in life, unfortunately. Right? And that's the same as the last point as well. Understand the investment the time you need to reach your goal. Now, all of us define success in different ways, right? You have to understand that there will be an investment. You will struggle sometimes in order for you to reach your goal. Because when it comes to success, guys, there is a formula for success. Like one person one day asked Mahesh Amali, who is the CEO of MAS Holdings, and said, "Sir, I would love to be a CEO like you, a chairman like you. Tell me about your daily routine." He said, "Yeah, let me tell you about my daily routine. I get up at 4 in the morning. I do a bit of yoga. I have my breakfast. I have my shower. I check all my mails before 5:30 so that I have cleared my mailbox. Then at 5:30 in the morning, I leave to the factories. I visit about 3 factories. I attend different strategic meetings. I do all that. Sorry, I do all that. And then I come back at about 5:30, 6 o'clock. I have a wash. I use the gym for about half an hour. And then because I'm the chairman of the company, I'm invited for so many events. So then I go for these events until about 10:30. I have dinner there and I come back and I sleep and I do that. So this guy said, "Oh, that sounds difficult. I wonder how I can do it." He's like, "No, let me give you the reality. I didn't do this for 1 day or 1 month. I did this for 20 years. So if you can do that as well, I'm sure you can be a chairman of a company also." So you have to understand there is a science to achievement. If you want to be something, it's very clear. If you want to become successful, these are the things that you need to do. But can you do it? That's another story. So if you want to do something, if you want to become a CEO or a manager by the age of 30 years, or you want to own a car by the age of 25, or you want to buy land by the age of 27, you have to understand that you have to put in the work. You have to invest in that journey. And will every day be good? No, it won't. They always tell you have to love the process. You will not always love the process, guys, right? There's a really good quote by this guy called Tim Grover. He was the coach of Michael Jordan, the basketball player. He said you should crave the result so intensely that the process becomes irrelevant. Crave the result so intensely that the process becomes irrelevant. What does this mean? This basically means that you know what your goal is. You know it so badly that whether you like it or not, you have to accept the process. And I'll give you an example from my own life. So once I was practicing for 5 half marathons in 5 consecutive days, right? I was practicing, and that involved running 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers on Saturdays and Sundays, running on weekdays. Did I always like getting up in the morning on Saturday at 5 a.m. and running? I hated it. I hated it on certain days. I didn't want to do it. So do you have to love the process? You don't have to love the process. But you have to understand that without doing that, you will never be able to run those 5 half marathons in 5 days. So you have to understand that it is non-negotiable sometimes. So if you want to be something in life, you have to invest in getting there. Okay, so I'm going to the next slide, everyone. Is that clear so far? Can I get a virtual show of hands if that is clear? One?
Yeah, clear, Mouse.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So guys, recruitment process, right? Now, in a typical recruitment process, a job is advertised. You're going to get hundreds or thousands of CVs sometimes. You might have 3 rounds of screening, and then you might have an assessment center where they will put you through a number of different activities, from impromptu presentations, teamwork, games, psychometric tests, case studies. They could do all these different things. And it is your duty, guys, right? That you need to be able to be ready for this event. Because in life, there are 2 very important events that will shape your career. One is you have to make sure you get your CV done correctly. Second is your interview. If you nail both of these elements, you will get the job of your dreams. But if you don't, unfortunately, you may not get the job that you truly want. So these are the 2 windows of opportunity that you have. And what do you have to do from day one, from today when you're in the university? You have to get ready and prepared, because when the time comes for you to send your CV, for you to sit in for that interview, you are prepared and you know exactly what to do when the time arises. Now it's like this, right? at interviews, when we ask people, tell me a little about yourself, why have you come for the interview, how can you add value, I am so surprised that 95% of all the candidates haven't done research on the company. They do not understand the industry. They do not know how they can add value. They do not know what the career path is for them at the industry, and they have done no background research, unfortunately. If I could find one person who could answer any of those questions or come to me with any of those suggestions, I would take them. But in Sri Lanka, unfortunately, at the private universities, at the local university, nobody comes with that level of thinking. We ask them, why do you want this job? They're like, no, because I finished my degree. I'm looking for a job. I have a degree in marketing and I feel I should get a job in marketing. That's why I've applied. Wrong, guys. What you need to tell them is, listen, I have applied to your company because I understand that you are one of the leaders in marketing. You all have different elements like digital marketing. You all do a lot of campaigns. I've followed your campaigns. I think these campaigns are really good. I understand right now the industry is very saturated. There are so many players in the market, but I can add value because I have these competencies which I feel could be valuable to your company. Bingo, guys, you get the job, no questions asked. But I guarantee you, only about 1%, not even 1%, come with that sort of engagement at an interview, unfortunately. Right? So you need to be prepared. And I know when it comes to interviews, that's a separate session. Maybe at some other time we could talk about that separately. But these two elements, guys, your interview and your CV are the most important documents which will help you land the job of your dreams. And it is very simple, guys, to get it. But you will be surprised how many people don't invest in their CVs, who don't have very good LinkedIn profiles, who don't get prepared for an interview. And as a result, they're saying, how come I haven't got a job? Well, you haven't because you haven't done the work. Maybe you've done 4 years of a degree program, which is great. But this small little 20-minute interview, this 2-page CV, unfortunately, you haven't invested in it. And that is why you are not getting a job. So think about it, guys, right? So what are employers looking for in today's world? At a bare minimum, guys, you need to be proficient in your area. So if you're applying for a job in engineering, you need to know engineering inside out. And not only theoretically, you need to also understand what is new in engineering. What are the current trends? You need to be really up to date. Because in life, in the corporate world, things are changing on a daily basis. Today, a technology is there, tomorrow it is outdated. So you have to ensure minimum, you have to be proficient in your area. Now think about this, guys, right? At university, you have been given curriculum that has been updated maybe 3 years ago. If you're lucky, maybe 1 year ago. And the world is changing at an even faster pace. So not only do you have to learn what is in your books and your syllabus, you have to make sure you are up to date as well with that area that you are specializing in. Understand which companies are leading them. What is new in your area? That is bare minimum, guys. If you do not have that, you're not even in the race. Okay, first thing. Second is emotional and cultural intelligence. Many employers are looking for this now. Can you control your emotions? And are you culturally intelligent? I'm sure many of you all understand emotional intelligence to some extent. So let me talk to you about the second point, which is cultural intelligence. Now, in today's world, we work with people all over the globe. No longer do we have to hire talent in Sri Lanka. We can hire people anywhere in the world. There are no borders and boundaries anymore. That means your colleague will be someone sitting in India, in the US, in Canada. It could be anywhere in the world. And your ability to work with them, understand how they work, get the best out of them is crucial in today's world. Because no longer are we only based in one country anymore. And that is called cultural intelligence, right? And I'll give you a very simple example, right? Now, remember back in, let me give you an example of cultural intelligence. Now, there was one company, they were advertising for Coke, right? They wanted to sell Coke in Saudi Arabia, right? So they asked one of the marketing executives, come up with a nice 3-page campaign on selling Coke. So what this person did was, he had 3 pictures. One picture was someone really was running a race, was running in the desert a race. The second picture was, and this was from left to right, the pictures were placed. On the left-hand side, you had a picture, just picture this, guys, of someone running a desert marathon, right? The second picture was of this person who was very tired, who was very thirsty because they've run like 5-10 kilometers in the desert and they're so tired, and the sun now is scorching at them right now. They're very tired. Second picture. And the third picture is what do you call? They're drinking a Coke. They've drunk a Coke because they were tired. Sorry. Second picture is of them being very tired in the scorching sun and they're drinking a Coke, right? Wait, hang on, guys. Let me just rephrase that altogether, right? This is of a marathon, a desert marathon, right? The first picture is someone who is dying, who is someone who is so tired, who is someone who is exhausted because of running the marathon. That's the first picture. The second picture is where they're drinking a Coke, right? They're now revitalized because they're drinking a Coke. And the third picture is of them energized and running the marathon, right? So in the beginning, they're tired, they've drunk a Coke, and now they're running a marathon. And they sold it. And they said, okay, this is the campaign I suggest for Saudi Arabia for Coke. And then when they put it out to market, this was utter failure. Why? Because in Saudi Arabia, they don't read left to right. In Arabic, you read right to left. So there's a picture now of them running a marathon. Second picture is them drinking a Coke. Third picture of them dead. Right? So because, now this is not a real story, but I just wanted to share an example. Because they lack cultural intelligence when we're doing the marketing campaign. Now, in Europe, when you're working with people in Europe, you do not call them after 5 o'clock. You do not call them on weekends. They will not even answer the phone if the whole office is burning down. That is cultural intelligence. In Sri Lanka, you will not call someone on a 4-year full moon holiday. Right? So you need to understand the different aspects working in a global environment. Very important. Next is you need to have multi-skills. You need to be able to deploy it in different areas if required as well. Today you're in HR, you're doing a job in payroll. Tomorrow you might be deployed in performance management. Can you learn, unlearn, and do new things in your department? Very important as well. Extracurricular activity. Many companies look for people who have done sports or members of clubs or societies. Why? Because if you have provided leadership in those areas, chances are, if you join the company as well, you will be able to provide leadership there also. Because many people on their CVs mention we have leadership skills, we are good problem solvers, we are good with time management. But when they come for interviews and I see this on their CV, I tell them I don't believe you. Why? Because I don't see any activities that bolster or verify these claims. If you are a leader, show me that you were a prefect in school. Show me that you led a society. Show me that you were captain of a sports team. Then I believe you. Otherwise, how can I believe you that you have leadership skills? So that is why extracurricular activities are so important, everyone. I know right now you're spending a lot of time studying and doing a lot of work academically. Guys, academics will only take you so far. Sometimes the person who's sitting behind, right at the back of the class, who is getting average grades, but is doing a lot of other things as well, they might be career-wise more successful than the person who gets straight A's. You never know. Make sure that you focus on different areas, because when it comes to the corporate sector, they're not only looking at someone who has great ideas. So many young people come to me and say, can I implement this idea? I think this idea will work. I'm like, show me it works and then come to me. Ideas are great, but if you cannot execute these ideas, they are meaningless. And you get these through doing different things, guys, experimenting, doing extracurricular activities. So this is very important as well. Next is attitude. We can train you for skills, but we can't train you for attitude. It's very difficult. If you don't have a skill, if you don't know Java or .NET, I can train you in that. But if you have an attitude where you can't work with different people, you can't connect, you can't build relationships, that is a longer thing, which I will find it more difficult to train you on that, because that is something that takes a longer time to train. So very important. Next is confidence. You need to be confident in your area. And how do you build confidence? You build confidence by being proficient in your area, being an expert in your area of expertise. You will not be perfect in every single area, but in your area, you need to own it. And you talk like you own it as well. Now, when I go in for meetings with CEOs, sometimes with directors, now they might be excellent in their areas. And for those things, I will listen. But when it comes to my area, which is learning and development, I have the confidence that I own this area. Why? Because I spend a lot of time on developing myself, on personal development, on doing programs, on learning new things, on my professional, what you call working with different professionals in my area. So they cannot beat me in my area. So that's where I get my confidence from. Be true to your area and own that area. It doesn't just mean that you have got a degree in science or technology or engineering. It means you own that area. And that's how you get confidence. Next is understand your personal brand. Now at interviews, they will often ask you, why should I select you over everyone else in the room? There are 20 people who have come for an interview. Why should I select you? Well, you should understand it. And if you can't answer that question, and if you don't answer that question, how will you expect anyone else to know what your personal brand is? Now, I'm not telling you this other people, tell other people that, that I am better than my colleagues, I have more experience. No, I don't expect you to do that. I expect you to know what is different about you. What can you bring to the table that nobody else can bring? What is so special about you? And you need to know your personal brand. Now, many of y'all would have heard of the famous actor Will Smith, right? Will Smith, who acts in, Men in Black and all these movies. So he said, right now, he by no means identified himself as the most handsome actor. He didn't say that he was the best actor from a technical perspective, but he said this, and this quote I always remember. He said, I might not be the most sexiest actor. I might not be the most talented actor. I might not be the most technically adapted actor. But if you and I get on a treadmill together, there are one of two things that are going to happen. Either you are going to get off first, or I am going to die. It's that simple. Which means he is willing to outwork all his competition. Either you're going to get off first, or I'm going to die. It's that simple. And that was his brand. His brand was hard work. He was willing to outwork everyone around him. So similar to that, you have to identify what is your brand. What are you known for? What is your speciality? What is your strength? So right now, all of us have strengths. What is your strength? What are you going to differentiate yourself from everyone else? Right? So think about it. You don't have to come up with an answer right now, but think about it. What is your strength? What is so different, that you have that nobody else has? And how does that work for you in your life? The next point, guys, is communication, written and verbal. Now, when I say communication, I'm not saying that you need to understand or be able to speak English really well. I'm saying that you need to be able to make your point go to the other person really well. As long as you are able to communicate very clearly to the other person, the job is done. Now, we have consultants in our team who are from Portugal, from Italy. Their English is not great. But some of them are able to communicate that point to the other person in the way that it is received, in the way that they want it to be received. So you need to be able to communicate that. Now, if you feel, okay, my communication is not good right now, I'm not confident, I can't talk to audiences, then you need to invest in certain societies where you can improve your communication, like Toastmasters or Gavel. Now, once at an interview, I met this one candidate and I asked this candidate, what is your weakness? And I found an amazing answer, which I always talk about even today. This person said, my biggest disadvantage or my biggest weakness is my communication is not really good. My verbal skills are not good. I'm not confident. I can't speak in front of an audience. But what I have done is I've joined a Toastmasters club, and now I do one speech a week. And every quarter I do a big speech, and I feel I'm getting better. And I found this to be amazing. You know why? Because this person has growth mindset. This person has identified an area that he is weak in, and this person is doing something to get better as well. This person is empowered, responsible over that person's own development, and they have enrolled themselves in Toastmasters to get better. So now I know if I hire this person in my company, if this person is weak in any area, this person will take it upon himself to learn a new skill to get better. Because the evidence is very clear with the communication example. So if you are weak in an area, guys, don't think, okay, this is the end of the road, I'm weak in this area. Find ways that you can improve. Be committed to get better in that area. It won't happen today, it won't happen tomorrow, but start the process. So important, guys. We have so many people who are really good developers, so many good architects, so many good software programmers who sit at the back of the office. They come in, they do amazing code, and they go every day. But sometimes they say, how come I'm not getting promoted? How come the person who is doing a effective job is getting promoted and I'm not getting promoted? Well, it is good to do your job. That's half of the work. But you also need to sell yourself also. Your managers need to know what you're doing. Your stakeholders need to know that you're doing a good job. Just because you're doing a good job doesn't mean that everyone will know you're doing a good job. You need to sell yourself as well. And I'm not saying showing off, I'm saying showcase what you're doing. That is so important, everyone. In society, in Sri Lanka, we feel shy sometimes to publish our achievements, to show what we have done. We feel like, okay, why do I have to show off? Guys, if people don't know what you're doing, how will they ever be able to promote you? So I'm not talking about showing off, I'm talking about showcasing what you have achieved. Because you haven't won a race because because you were given a gift. You won a race because you practiced for 1 year, 2 years, and it gave you the skill, the strength to win a race. So why not showcase that? Why not inspire people so that they can do the same thing for themselves? So remember, guys, showcase what you have done. And employers also are looking at experience, guys. So right now, you all are studying. Try to do an internship. Try to do something. Even if you're not paid, try to get some sort of experience. You know why? Because when you go for that interview, now, for example, if I'm coming to your career day, and I'm coming to interview your department. All of you all have the same degree, right? So I will not even ask about your degree. It's not important for me. I want to understand what else do you have, but others don't have. So maybe you all have experience. Maybe you have gone and done an internship somewhere and acquired new experience. Or maybe you've done a project. Or maybe you've done some CSR activity. That is how you differentiate yourself from other people as well. Coming to your department, I am not even going to ask about your degree. Why? Because all of them have the same degree. Why do I need to ask? I am more interested to know what else do you bring to the table. And in this case, it is experience as well. So guys, these are some points which I feel are very important when you join the corporate sector, something that will hold a lot of value as well. And the difference between employable and marketable is, now, if you are employable means you can get any job that is available once you graduate, right? But being marketable is being able to get the job that you truly want. Now, if you had a dream of joining MAS Holdings as a management trainee, are you marketable enough to get that job? Employable means you can get any job. If you're looking for an admin assistant job and you get it, then you've got employment. But if you're looking for the job of your dreams, that is marketable. So many of you may have certain companies you all want to join. Many of you all want to join certain designations as a management trainee or a software engineer or a junior associate, something you want to join when you graduate. Have you done your research? Have you created networks in those companies? Have you started identifying what are the skills that they're looking for? And work backwards, guys. Your degree is minimum requirement. It is the entry ticket to only send your CV. Because they are saying you need a degree to send your CV. So it's only the minimum requirement. Everything else are value additions that will differentiate yourself from everybody else, everyone. And you need to remember that, right? So guys, I'm going to go on for another 10 minutes and then I want to open it out for y'all because I'm sure y'all will have a lot of questions as well. I don't want to overload y'all with too much of information also. So I would like y'all to ask a few questions as well. Right? So I spoke about this already, the two most important activities, your CV and interview. Understanding your personal brand, I spoke about this as well. Remember, guys, we are all different. We are all unique in our way. You need to understand what is so different about you that differentiates you from everyone else. Now, there are two car brands on the screen right now. There's Mercedes and Toyota. Now, normally when you see Mercedes, what comes to your mind? Can anyone answer? Tell me an attribute.
Luxury.
Luxury. Okay. What else, guys? What comes into your mind when you see the emblem Mercedes? So many people will think luxury, rich, you're famous, crazy lifestyle. That is what we'll think about. I think someone has put something on the chat as well. Let me just check that. Social class, really great. Yes, social class. So you think of a certain social class when you see Mercedes. When you see Toyota, what comes into your mind? Toyota, what comes into your mind?
Affordable.
Affordable, yeah. What else, guys? Put it on the chat. What comes into your mind when you see Toyota? Affordable, economy, reliability. These are some things that are normally associated with Toyota, right? Now, Toyota didn't just start business saying we are going to be known as the affordable brand. Over years and years and years, through consistency, they have developed cars that are very reliable, are not too expensive. They have basic features, but they are reliable. Mercedes have over the years spent money on developing cars that are very high end, that are known for luxury, that are known for class, and they have created their own brand. Similar to this, guys, from the day that you walked into university, people have looked at you, they have observed your actions, your behaviors, and they have formed a certain impression about you as well. And they have formed a personal brand. And whether you like it or not, guys, people have an impression about you, about what you post on social media, your digital footprint, on what activities that you're involved in, on what are your interests. They have formed some sort of perception about you, and that's what they think of you. So what my proposition for all of y'all is, purposefully create a brand that is consistent with what you want people to know about you. So for me, I'm into the field of learning and development. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile, if you look at my Facebook, if you look at my Instagram, I'm very consistent with what I post in the area of learning and development. And I also like a lot of sports. So I do a lot of running. I do a lot of sports. So a lot of my posts are also consistent with my sport activities as well. So that is what I want the world to see. So I purposefully frame myself to showcase what I really like or what my personal brand is as well. So remember, guys, whenever you post something on social media, 7 or 8 billion people are watching and they are forming some sort of impression about it. So why not post something that is very consistent with your values and what you want the world to see as well, right? We can post jokes and memes and all that. That's fine. But remember, that is what people will perceive as you as well, right? So you remember, when it comes to certain things, you can purposefully build your brand as well. Again, guys, this is a whole different workshop. I won't go into it right now, but just understand that you are a brand. People, whether you like it or not, have some sort of perception of you. And even before we select people to join our company, we do a full social media check of you to see what your interests are, how is your attitude, what sort of lifestyle you have before we select you, because we want to make sure that you will fit into our company culture. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So I'm just going to move to the next slide. So what will your university degree give you? Back in the day, if you had a degree, you will get a top job in the corporate sector. You are guaranteed. 20 years ago, if you had a degree, you will get a superb job. You don't have to worry about your career ever again. Now, 15 years ago, if you got a job, you were guaranteed of at least an executive level job. You could, when I started working, if I had a degree, I was guaranteed of having a management trainee job or a junior executive, guaranteed. 10 years ago, I would have been called at least for an interview with a job, right? At least I would have been given a shot at an interview. 5 years ago, my CV would have been stacked under so many resumes because I would have met minimum standard. Whether I would have got called or not, I don't know. If my CV stood out, maybe I would have got called. Today, guys, we're just a statistic, right? My proposition is you need to make sure that you stand up, that you understand what is your unique selling proposition, understand what your personal brand is. You cannot be like everyone else. Now, today, y'all are all studying. Tomorrow, you will all graduate together as a batch. All of y'all will graduate together as a batch. Not only your university, but you will be competing against people from other universities. You'll be competing against people from other countries. So you need to be able to do the extra work to find your differentiator. You need to be able to invest in other things as well, because your degree alone will only meet minimum standard, right? Now, I know a lot of students, they spend so many times, because they've got scholarships, they made it to the university, they spend so much of time on graduating. I guarantee, guys, that you all have got into university, all of y'all will graduate. I guarantee that you all will. But what I can't guarantee is that you all will have the other skills, which is communication, experience, internships, extracurricular, and these are the things that will get you selected for the job of your dreams. And I feel, this is my personal experience, you need to invest more time on those activities than your degree. Your degree you will get anyway. I guarantee you've invested in it. You will somehow graduate. You need to spend more time on these other areas as well, because these are your differentiators. Your degree will maybe it will entitle you to just send your CV in. But what will get you called for that interview are the other things that you bring to the table. And that is what you need to invest in, everyone. That is what you invest in. And that is so important, everyone. So, guys, I think I've spoken for about an hour. I just want to leave you all with a couple of thoughts. I'm not going to go through everything. These are a couple of things which I want you all to do. I want you all to study, but I don't want you all only to focus on your degrees. I want you all to also invest in other things that are so important also. I want you all to do internships, right? If there's any way, even if you're not getting paid, do something where you can gather experience. Because when you start working somewhere and you have experience, I can very easily integrate you into my work-life setting. That's not a big problem because you've already worked somewhere else before. I also want you all to take part in extracurricular activities. I want you all to build networks. They often say your network is your net worth. That means in every single facet of society today, it's the people that you know matters. Whether it's getting a job, getting a new contract, whether it's getting new business for your company, networks are so important. It's based on recommendations and who you know. So if, for example, you want to join Virtusa or Rising or any company, MAS Holdings, start building networks from today. Add people on LinkedIn. I'm not telling them add them today and then tomorrow send your CV. It doesn't work like that. Add them today, like their post, understand what they're doing, comment on some of their posts, go for certain meetings where you can build networks. Because at the end of the day, guys, even though people advertise for jobs, if you have a network, you can send your CV directly to HR. They will call you for an interview and you have a better shot at getting the job of your dreams. So start building those networks with the people and the companies that you are interested in from today, guys. Very important, right? The next point I wanted to share with you focuses on sports. Understand the corporate environment and the industry as well. Stay current with the industry. So if you want to get into software engineering, understand what the new trends in software engineering are. Think 5 years ahead. Don't only think of now, right? Because everyone's thinking now only. If you want to stay ahead of the rest, think what's going to happen in 5 years' time. Really important. Do sports, take part in team activities like societies, Rotaract, Interact, whatever it is, get involved, make your networks, do projects that will really help you in your corporate career. Travel as much as you can. Go to places like in the island where you haven't gone before. surround yourself with people who are different from you. Never surround yourself with people who are like you. Then you will be a victim of this concept called groupthink, where you think the whole world thinks like you, when in reality, nobody thinks like you. You have surrounded yourself in a bubble. Find people who are different from you. Find people who challenge the way that you think, and you will find how you will learn from them. If you get the opportunity of going abroad, go abroad, right? Now, so many people when I went to India, I was telling everyone how safe it is in India. Right now in India, girls are walking at midnight. There's no problem in Bangalore. They don't have to worry even in shorts. There's no problem for them at all in Bangalore. Safety is not a problem. We think that their mindset is in a certain way. It's very different in India. Which I thought very differently. I would have never understood that until I came to India and worked in Bangalore. Right? So only when you travel and you find people who are different from you, will you understand the real context. Right? So be a part of that global village by finding people who are different from you and working with them. Understand your personal brand, your strengths and your weaknesses. And always, guys, this is so important. I'm going to end with this. Have a growth mindset. This means never think that you know everything. Even if you have graduated and you got a GPA of 4.0, don't think you know everything, because the world is changing. There's so much more you can learn as well. So be prepared when you start working to unlearn certain things that you have done. You'll be like, it's not relevant anymore. We have to learn something new. Don't have an ego thinking you know it all. Be ready to unlearn, relearn. And throughout your life, until the day that you die, you will be learning. And as they say in life, if you are not growing, you are dying. If you are not growing, you are dying. So throughout your life, have a growth mindset. So that's what I wanted to leave you all with, guys. As a couple of things that you don't get taught in school, which you need to also learn. Equip yourself for future jobs. Right now, what you're taught is, you're prepared for jobs that are available right now in the market. Right? Learn and understand what the future jobs will be. Something that you're not taught in school is how to manage your money, because nobody teaches this in school, right? How to manage your investments and finance. Understand that also. Understand how to build relationship with your stakeholders. Very important, right? Have an entrepreneurial mindset. That means innovate. Even if you're working in a company, you have to innovate within your role, what you're doing. Always come up with new things. And how to apply knowledge to results. That's the most important thing. It doesn't matter how much that you learn. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. Those days, they said, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Guess what, guys? Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. If you cannot put that knowledge to achieving results, it is useless, guys. And any company will tell you that. On that note, guys, I'm leaving you the final slide. Be a part of change or be left behind. The dinosaurs, unfortunately, could not evolve where the rats have evolved. Many people say, are you a part of the rat race? I'm like, yeah, the rats have evolved. It's a rat race, but they are still there and the dinosaurs have died off. So that's what I would like to leave you all with. I hope that made a bit of sense, guys. I spoke to you on a lot of different areas. There are separate workshops for those areas. Maybe at some point later in time, I can go into those areas a little more. But I just wanted to give you a gist of what is expected in the corporate sector, because it's a whole different world right now and it's changing every day. And I want you all to be equipped so that you all are prepared when you all are ready to take on your new jobs. So that's my piece of advice for you all. Adiba, over to you. And if you all have any questions, please ask away.
Yeah, so thank you, Mas, for that very insightful session. And right now, guys, we have the time with the Q&A. So if you have any question, you can either unmute yourself or you can either put it to chat box.
Any question, guys? Because yeah, go ahead, please.
Hi, Adiba. Yeah, am I audible?
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So hi, Mr. Mas. So your session was very insightful. So I also learned many new things and new aspects where I can think of. So a common question from me, probably you may answer the question in your session. But anyways, the question was from mine was considering about the current most considering about the most current degrees in Sri Lanka, maybe local universities or maybe like private universities. So the degree programs are more into theoretical context. Like they will be like teaching all the stuff about how the theory going on, and the undergraduates, like they doing assignments, quizzes, and most of the stuff, and they like studying hard for the exams. Like they are by hearting, and like they do the exams and stuff. But when we when we move on to the interviews, like in the interview panels, they might ask like how to value those those applicants, and like how would you like, do you have any practical experiences rather than this theoretical context? In that context, like we people, like we will make, like we'll face many challenges since like we don't have any practical experiences. Then and like in the interview panels, like they might ask like what kind of salary, like would you tell like what kind of salary range that you can think of? In that case also, like our applicants might say like it will be enough if I get 20,000, 30,000, that will be enough. But in that context, like maybe that applicant may have hard worked for 4 or 5 years in that degree program, and he might done some kind of family sacrifices, but he may tell like that would be enough, like 20,000, 30,000 in a salary will be enough. So in that context, like what would be a recommendation, like how to value those
great
undergraduates, like when they face to the interview? Yeah.
So great question. So I think there were a couple of multiple questions there. So let me try to answer it in one. Right? So first and foremost, I know all of us have gone to university. We spend sleepless nights. We make lots of sacrifices to graduate, right? That's the reality. But you know what? Today, this question is asked by every interview. What else can you bring to the table? So I would say, rather than trying to get that straight GPA 4.0 grade point average, maybe focus also on these other things, like getting some sort of work experience, getting some sort of, internship, joining a club or a society. Those are, I think, in my opinion, right now, more important than a degree. So if you have just passed a degree and got a 2.0 grade point average, right? Just barely 50 marks and you passed. For me, that's okay as an employee. I don't mind. For me, what is important more is, what else have you done? At university, I know you all have a Gavel Club. I know you all have so many societies, Isaac. Have you all taken part in those societies? Have you all tried to get a job somewhere just to get, like, during the summer holidays, some sort of experience? Have you worked in McDonald's, as a cashier? Those things are important. In other countries, the age where a lot of candidates have there is by the age of 16, they are working somewhere else also. While studying, they are working. Some of them are working and paying for their university also. So those things are very important for employees. So I think right now we spend so much time studying. Maybe we can reduce that. We are not looking to get a 90 or 100%. I'm happy with a 50 or 60%. But if you have spent more time on these other areas, that's more valuable to me as an employee. That's the first point. In terms of salaries, guys, you all need to do your research when you go for an interview. Now, today we have some amazing tools like Glassdoor. Now, when you create a network in a company and you have certain people working in a company, you will know exactly what the salaries are they will offer for entry-level positions. So when they ask you for a salary, you should be aligned with what they offer them. That's the research you have to do. You can't just go and say, I want 200,000 rupees or I want 20,000 rupees. You can't do that. It is your responsibility. It is your future. So you have to decide, what is the value that I want to share? How much do I think I'm worth? Now, if I have experience, if I have a degree, if I have worked somewhere else, if I've done projects, if I'm the president of my Toastmaster Society, I know that my value is high. So right now, they are taking entry-level people at 100,000, for example. I say I want 110,000 because this is what I bring to the table. This is what I can do. But if you only go with a degree, I can't ask for that. I will say 100,000 because this is what everyone is getting at entry level. So you have to know your value as well. You need to do the research as well. Because in a company, it's all about performance. What you have done before, it's not relevant anymore. They don't care. A degree is the minimum requirement. And you know why we say a degree is minimum requirement? Because we have to have some standard. So the degree is minimum standard to join any company. So now that you have the degree, it's all about performance going forward. What can you bring to the table? How fast can I integrate you so that I can make you billable to the customer? So these are things that are considered. So my advice for everyone here on the call as well is, yes, you have to get your degree, and I'm sure all of us will get the degree, but spend maybe less time. I know this is very controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. Maybe sometimes less time studying and invest more time on these other things that are more valuable to companies. Because what you learn in your academics sometimes might not be relevant when you start working, because technology is getting updated every day. So if you learn Java and .NET and you're joining as a software engineer, maybe they're using a new programming language. So whatever you learned is no longer relevant anymore. So you need to consider that as well. I hope I answered your question, and I hope that was some sort of insight to your lesson.
Yes, Mr. Mas, that was actually nice answer. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So I get a question in the chat box as well. How many software projects at least should be done before applying for an internship or of an IT professional internship? So guys, if you're applying for an internship, maybe you don't have to do any projects. It depends on the company. Where I work in currently, we're looking for software engineers who probably haven't done any projects before, but who are really interested in the topic, and they can convince us by the interview that they really like software engineering and they like to get into our technology, which is SAP. Right? If you can convince us that you have a passion for it, then we will take you even if you've not done any projects. We just want to see that you're interested in it, right? And by saying interested, I don't want you to just say I'm interested in it. Show that you have done some research, that you know about the company, about what sort of technology we do. That means that you're interested. So that's my answer for that. There is no number per se. It can be 1, it can be 5, it can be 0. But we want to see that you have a genuine interest to learn. And then we'll give you an internship where we will teach. I hope that made sense.
Hi, Mas. I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Doing an internship while doing a full-time degree is sometimes pressurizing. Can you tell us a way to balance both? Because sometimes lecturers are so strict about academics things.
Sure, that's a great question, right? So again, it's like this. You will have certain points, right? You will have certain times where you may have certain breaks, right? You will have certain points where you may have 1 semester off or 1 month off, where you might be able to do some project or join some society. And guys, it's not going to be easy, right? If success was easy, everyone would be doing it. I'll be very brutally honest with all of you. If things were easy, everyone would be doing it. And I know right now you all probably spend 8 hours, 10 hours a day doing your schoolwork, your university work. Maybe till 6 o'clock in the evening, you're fully invested in it. But maybe you can join a Toastmasters club where you spend 1 hour every evening, once a week. Maybe you can, maybe not an internship, but maybe you can work on a project with a company for where you invest 1 or 2 hours a week. You have to be creative and you have to take ownership of it. Will it be tiring? It's going to be crazy. You're going to kill yourself. For these 4 years, there will be no work-life balance. But if you want to differentiate yourself from other people, sometimes you may have to make certain sacrifices as well. Sometimes you may not get sleep sometimes. Sometimes times will get difficult where you don't know whether you can do it anymore. But those are the times that really showcase who you are. And those are the times where you will find growth in your life as well. Now, for my own example, like all my friends were going out partying. They slept in on Saturdays and Sundays. I had to get up at 4 in the morning and start running, practicing every day, running 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, sometimes 4 hours, 5 hours on weekends. Was that work-life balance there? Was it easy? It was crazy. It was so hectic. There was so much of pressure with my other work and everything. But if you want something bad enough, you have to make certain sacrifices as well. And if that means sometimes working after hours, joining these Toastmasters, Rotary meetings after hours on weekends, then so be it. That's how you differentiate. Is it going to be difficult? It's going to be crazy hard now. But it'll be difficult now, but you pay the price now for a really good future. Many people want the niceness now and then they pay the price later. Like, for example, you eat junk food now and you suffer with diabetes later. You pay the price now, it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult for a great future, guys. It's like, how do you delay gratification? You tell your kids or your children, you watch TV now and you can do your homework later, they will never do it. But if you tell them, do your homework now, and as a reward, you can watch TV in the evening, then you're delaying their gratification. So as you mentioned, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard, it's going to suck. That's my honest opinion. You might not have balance even, but you have to find a way of doing, if not an internship, at least being a part of a club or society. You have to be doing what 99% are not doing if you want to make a difference. If you want to be different, if you want to stand out. If you want to be like everyone else, do what everyone else is doing. That's my opinion. I can't tell you exactly what to do, but if you want to become an outlier, if you want to be different, you have to be willing to do the extra work. And I don't know whether that's just me, but that's the advice I give everyone. You have to find a way of differentiating yourself, even if it means having no balance in your life sometimes, at least in the initial part of your life right now.
Thank you, Marv. Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
Mas, I have a question from my end. So, what I want to ask is, as when you sign into a company, as you are employee, you also invest in the company. You put some effort. So, as a person who has a growth mindset, so who has set targets, so I'm gonna achieve this level, I'm gonna achieve this level in this time. So, how much time as a fresh graduate should give the company? I mean, how much we stable in a one job, like what, like without like finding another company?
Sure. So nice question, Adipa. So it's like this, right? I don't mind going from company to company as long as you're going for a better position and a better learning opportunity. So in today's context, they say if you're working in a company for more than 3 years, you are a part of the furniture. So in today's context, people are moving quite regularly. And I don't mind that as long as you're moving for a better opportunity, more responsibility, better learning, then yes. But if you're just moving to another company because they're paying you 20,000 rupees more and you're not really learning something, I highly discourage it. Because you're in, like those days, even my parents, they tell me, get a good job, get a job that's paying you a good salary. They never could understand the concept of a career. Because while a job will pay you 20,000 rupees more next month, a career will pay you 100,000 or 1 million rupees more in about 10, 20 years. Because you are an expert in that particular career. So when you join a company, in the beginning, you will probably get paid a little. You have to give to the company before you can get. But while you're giving your learning, remember, investment is in your skills. They say skill set is the new currency. The new currency in the world is a skill set. While you're working there, even though the company is paying you maybe a little, but you feel you're learning so many things. You are learning so many things. When the time is right, you will be ready to cash in on that investment. Like, for example, if you are working as an audit trainee at KPMG, you are paid nothing, hardly anything. You're working in so many companies doing their auditing and their books, maybe for 1 year, maybe for 2 years, maybe for 3 years. But once you become that auditor, your salary grows exponentially and you're getting paid more than anyone else. Now, I see so many people who are saying, my batchmate in this company is getting paid more. My other batchmate is getting paid more. I want to join that company. I'm like, be patient. You are investing in a career. Like when you put your money in a bank, nothing gives you return overnight, right? Someone will say, give me 1,000 rupees. I'll give you 1,500 rupees tomorrow. Some things are high risk, high return. But in reality, guys, when you invest your money, you will understand that at a point in time, you will be worth so much. And even though certain friends have overtaken you and they have gone past you, when the time is right, guys, you will cash in and you will be ahead of everyone else. I see this very often in my sports, in my running. So sometimes when I'm running like a half marathon, 20 kilometers, I see a lot of guys who are running very fast in the beginning and they overtake me. And my running partner often says, shall we run faster? Shall we catch up? I'm like, no, we have a plan. We are going forward. We will catch up to them. And in about the 12th or the 15th kilometer mark, I overtake them. And they're tired, but I still have energy to do the 21 kilometers because you have to understand when it's your career, it is a battle of your attrition. Sometimes you will feel you're not getting paid enough. But if you feel you're learning enough, that is your currency, guys. That is your investment. Because you can take this skill to any other company and you can apply it for a very high salary. So when you start your career, guys, don't worry about salary. I mean, you of course get the salary that you deserve as what everyone else is getting in the company, for sure. But remember, this is a time for you to learn. This is a time for you to acquire skills. And your salary will be given to you, yes. But when the time is right and when you have enough experience in your stream or in your career, you will get paid exponentially. Guys. You don't have to worry about money ever again because you are a specialist in your career. And then you will realize you can go on your adventure treks, you can go and do what you like, your sporting activities, travel the world. Because you are so good in your career, it doesn't take you more than a couple of minutes to give a solution to any problem the company is having. And that's what CEOs are doing now. So that's my advice. Suffer now.
Yeah. Thank you, Mars. So, guys, everyone, do you have any other questions? So, in the meantime, if you have, just you can ask now. See, I do have another question, which is if you start your job freshly, but your career freshly, but you don't feel challenging, you don't feel learning, is it right to move on from the company?
Yeah. I mean, it's two things, right? If you feel like you're not learning anything and you're not challenged, and you are not actually developing in that area, by all means move. But do not move if you go into a job and it's too difficult and it's too hard for you and you want to give up. Then do not move. If you're finding it stressful, difficult, challenging, you are pushed out of your limits, do not move because you're growing and learning as a person. That is not a reason to move. A reason to move is if you're put somewhere and you're not given any work, you're given work, but it's it's not challenging enough for you. Then by all means you can move. But if you are moving for the wrong reasons, like it's too difficult for me now, I think I can have an easier job with my qualifications, I should be doing something else. No, guys. You have to learn every single thing. Like, for example, if you join Ceylon Tobacco as a management trainee, you're paid maybe about 200,000 rupees as a management trainee. But the first line of business for you is you have to go to all the days in the outskirts of Colombo and collect cigarette butts. You have to go to all the clubs and collect cigarette butts to see how many people have smoked and what are the varieties of cigarettes they smoke. Now you're thinking, I've got a degree to do this. Why do I have to do this? But you have to do this because in order for you to learn the business of cigarettes, you need to learn every single aspect of it, from it being sold in the cuttings. So you have to understand some things will be hard. Some things you will have to learn from the bottom, from the beginning. Some things you think, I don't even have a degree to learn this, but you have to. So that is not a reason for you to move. But if you want to move because maybe you're in the wrong company or it doesn't suit your values, then by all means, it makes sense. So yeah, guys, that's my bit of advice for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mars. So if you have any other questions, I don't see. So I think we can move on. So thank you very much, Mars, for coming to this session and giving you insights, taking your time off, your busy schedule. So we do have a small token of appreciation. So thank you, Mr. Mars again, for coming and taking your time off to give you insights on this topic. And behalf of University Ambassador Consortium, G17, I'm thanking you. So thank you very much.
Thanks,
And
thank you.
yeah, sure. Thanks. And then thanks you all for the participants. Without you, this event wouldn't be this much successful. And for your engaging answers and comments. And yeah, so that's all for today. And with that, I'm gonna end this session. So thank you once again for the mass, and thank you once again for the participants. And I'm wishing you all very best in your future endeavors. And thank you and a good night. So I'm signing off. I'm Adipa Ratna, your host. Okay, thank you.